Dung beetles may seem like humble creatures, but they have a fascinating array of traits and behaviors. Here are amazing facts about dung beetles. There are over 6,000 species of dung beetles worldwide, belonging to the superfamily Scarabaeoidea. Dung beetles are classified into 4 groups: rollers, tunnelers, dwellers, and stealers. Dung beetles are found on every continent except Antarctica. They range in size from tiny species measuring a few millimeters to large ones over 2 inches long. Dung beetles come in various colors, including black, brown, metallic green, and even iridescent hues. Their primary food source is dung, though some species also consume decaying organic matter. Dung beetles play a crucial role in ecosystem health by recycling dung, which helps control parasites and pathogens and enriches the soil. Dung beetles have an excellent sense of smell, which helps them locate dung from long distances. They can detect a fresh dung pile within minutes of its deposition. Different species of dung beetles prefer different types of dung, such as that of herbivores or carnivores. Female dung beetles lay their eggs in dung balls, which they bury underground to provide food for their offspring. Rollers shape dung into balls and roll them away from the dung pile before burying them. Tunnelers dig tunnels directly beneath the dung pile and bury it in situ. Dung beetles use the sun, the moon, and polarized light to navigate, ensuring they roll their dung balls in straight lines. Some dung beetles can navigate using the Milky Way, making them the only known animals besides humans to navigate using celestial cues. Some dung beetles exhibit social behavior, living in colonies and cooperating in dung processing. Dung beetles often compete fiercely for dung resources, with larger species dominating smaller ones. The life cycle of dung beetles typically includes egg, larva, pupa, and adult stages. Male dung beetles often engage in elaborate mating rituals to attract females, including fighting off rivals. Dung beetles are incredibly strong for their size, capable of moving objects many times their weight. Some dung beetles construct underground chambers to store dung for later consumption or egg laying. Dung beetle activity varies seasonally, with peak activity often occurring during warmer months. Different species of dung beetles have adapted to various climates, from deserts to rainforests. Dung beetles engage in coprophagy, consuming nutrients from dung to sustain themselves. Africa boasts the highest diversity of dung beetles, with thousands of species inhabiting the continent. Dung beetles have been around for at least 30 million years and have likely been coexisting with large herbivores since the time of dinosaurs. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the dung beetle Scarabaeoidea was revered as a symbol of renewal and rebirth due to its association with rolling balls of dung, which were likened to the sun moving across the sky. Dung beetles have cultural significance in various societies, often symbolizing hard work, persistence, and transformation. Dung beetles are considered bioindicators of ecosystem health due to their sensitivity to environmental changes and habitat disturbance. Habitat loss, agricultural intensification, and climate change pose threats to dung beetle populations worldwide. Scientists study dung beetles to understand their ecological roles, behavior, and evolutionary history. Dung beetles provide valuable ecosystem services, including nutrient recycling, soil aeration, and pest control. Dung beetles contribute to agricultural productivity by removing dung from pastures, which reduces fly populations and prevents the spread of diseases in livestock. Some dung beetles pollinate plants while feeding on nectar or pollen, making them important pollinators in certain ecosystems. Tropical regions with high biodiversity often harbor the greatest diversity of dung beetles. Dung beetles transport diverse microbial communities within their guts, which play roles in dung decomposition and nutrient cycling. By burying seeds in dung, dung beetles contribute to seed dispersal and plant regeneration in ecosystems. Dung beetles have specialized mouthparts and digestive systems adapted to digesting and processing dung. Some dung beetles exhibit thermoregulatory behaviors, such as burying themselves in the ground to avoid extreme temperatures. While some dung beetles are flightless, others are capable flyers, allowing them to disperse over long distances. Some species of beetles mimic the appearance and behavior of dung beetles to gain protection from predators. Several species of dung beetles are classified as endangered due to habitat loss and fragmentation. Dung beetles may have symbiotic relationships with other organisms, such as mites that live on their bodies and aid in dung decomposition. Dung beetles use chemical signals to communicate with conspecifics and locate dung resources. Some species of dung beetles exhibit bioluminescence, producing light from specialized organs on their bodies. In addition to dung, some species of dung beetles also feed on carrion, contributing to the decomposition of dead animals. Dung beetles employ various defense mechanisms against predators, including chemical defenses and hiding behavior.